Good day, students. Today we'll be looking at top JEE Physics past questions. So let's dive right into it. Question number 1 says, two balls with the same mass and initial velocity are projected at different angles in such a way that maximum height reached by first ball is 8 times higher than that of the second ball. T1 and T2 are the total flying times of the first and second ball respectively. Then the ratio of T1 and T2 is, so in this question we are asked to find the ratio of the first time of flight to that of the second time of flight for the different balls. Remember that I said that the maximum height for the first one is equals to what? 8 times the maximum height for the second ball. And since we know that our maximum height is supposed to give us u square sine square theta over 2g, this means that the maximum height of the first one, which is u1 square sine square theta over theta 1 over 2g is equals to 8 times u2 square sine square theta over 2g. This is theta 2. And in the question they said that they have the same mass and initial velocity. So there's no need for theta 1 for u1 and u2 because they have the same one, the same mass and the same initial velocity. This means that my 2g here can cancel out 2g, my u square can cancel out u square. It means I have sine square theta 1 is equals to 8 sine square theta 2. So from that, they said we should find the what ratio of T1 to T2, which is their time of flight. And we know that time of flight is supposed to give us 2u sine theta over g. This is the same thing as saying that my T1 therefore is supposed to give me 2u1 sine theta 1 over g, and my T2 is supposed to give me 2u2 sine theta 2 over g. So if I'm looking for the ratio of T1 to T2, it means that my T1 over T2 is simply equals to my T1 here is 2u1 sine theta 1 over g divided by 2u2 sine theta 2 over g. So this can simply mean that I have 2u sine theta 1 over g times g over 2u sine theta 2. So this will cancel this, my 2u cancel 2u. It means that my T1 over T2 is equals to sine theta 1 over sine theta 2. And my sine theta 1 have already been given in the question. So we know that from what we have established, we know that my sine square theta 1 is equal to 8 sine square theta 2, which means that my sine theta 1, so it means automatically that sine theta 1 is going to give me square root of 8 sine square theta 2. So if that's what I have, this means that my sine theta 1 is supposed to give me 2 root 2 sine square theta 2. So if that is what I have, if I impute this, it means that my T1 over T2 is supposed to give me 2 root 2 sine square theta 2 over sine square theta 2. So this means that sine square theta 2 can cancel out sine square theta 2. This means that I have that my T1 ratio T2 is 2 root 2 ratio 1. So the final answer to this question is 2 root 2 ratio 1. Question number 2, it says a helicopter flying horizontally with a speed of 360 km per hour. So we're given the speed, which is 360 km per hour at an altitude. So we have our height, altitude as 2 kilometers, drops an object at an instant. The object hits the ground at a point 0. 20 seconds later, so our time is 20 seconds. After it is dropped, displacement of 0 from the position of helicopter where the object was released is that. So we are looking for the displacement of arrow from the point where the object is released. So we know from this question that since we've been given our velocity, we know therefore that our velocity u, which is 360 km per hour, is same as in our 360,000 divided by 360,000 divided by 3,600. So this will give me 100 meter per second. And then we know therefore that our time taken is supposed to give me 2h over g, which is same as saying that I have t squared g over, this will give me over 2 as my h. So if I know this, all I have to do is what? Impute my values. So I know that my h therefore is going to give me, my time in the question is 20, so I have 20 squared times my g is 10, so I have 10 divided by 2, which will give me 400 times 10 divided by 2, and that will give me 2,000. So my h here is 2,000 meters. 2,000 meters. And I know that my distance, total distance there is supposed to give me, total displacement there is supposed to give me the square root of the original height, which we have as so we have h plus h. So the displacement is equal to the square root of h squared plus h squared. That is the distance covered by the object that is dropped, and the distance covered by the and the altitude of the object or the flying helicopter in this case. So it means that my x therefore is equals to square root of 2,000 squared plus 2,000 squared. So at the end of the day, this will give me square root of 4 million plus 4 million. So I'll have this square root of 8 million. So this means that my x is equals to, so I'll find the square root of 8 million. How do I find the square root of 8 million? This is same as in I have the square root of 4 million times 2. So it means that I have this will give me square root of 4 million times the square root of 2, and that will give me 2,000 root 2 meters. So if I convert this is same as in I have this will give me, divided by 1,000 here will give me 2 root 2 kilometers. So if you convert this, either you have your answer in 2,000 root 2 meters or 2 root 2 kilometers. It means that the displacement of O from the helicopter is 2 root 2 kilometers. Moving on to question number 3, it says 2 projectiles are fired from ground with the same initial speed from the same point at angles. So the first angle is given as, let's say this is theta 1 as 45 degrees plus alpha, and theta 2 is 45 degrees minus alpha. Then we said, what is the ratio of their time of flight? So we know that our time of flight is supposed to give us 2u sine theta over g. This is the same as saying that my T1 is equals to 2u sine, open bracket, 45 plus alpha over g, and my T2 is supposed to give me 2u sine 45 minus alpha over g. So it means that their ratio T1 over T2 is supposed to give me 2u sine 45 plus alpha over g divided by 2u sine 45 minus alpha over g. So this will cancel out themselves. It means at the end of the day, what I'll be having is T1 over T2 is equals to sine 45 plus alpha over sine 45 minus alpha. So if you have a question, if you have something like this is what trigonometrical identity. So if we introduce our trigonometrical identity, we say that if I have sine alpha plus beta, this is the same thing as saying that I have. This will give me sine alpha cos beta plus cos alpha sine beta. So it means also that if I have sine alpha minus beta, this will give me sine alpha cos beta minus cos alpha sine beta. So if I apply this rule here, it means what I'll be having will be my T1 over T2 is going to give me sine 45 cos alpha plus cos 45 sine alpha over, this will give me sine 45 cos alpha minus cos 45 sine alpha. So from what we know that sine 45 from our trigonometrical identity, and if I have this, and here is 45, here is also 45, this is root 2, this is 1, and this is 1. So if I'm looking for sine 45, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so mean I have what? 1 over root 2 times cos alpha. Then I have plus my cos 45 is supposed to give me also opposite adjacent over hypotenuse, which is also what? 1 over root 2 times sine alpha over, this will give me the same thing, so I have 1 over root 2 cos alpha minus 1 over root 2 sine alpha. So if I factorize out what they have in common, it means I have 1 over root 2 in bracket cos alpha plus sine alpha over, this is 1 over root 2 in bracket cos alpha minus sine alpha. So 1 over root 2 will cancel out 1 over root 2. It means I have cos alpha plus sine alpha over cos alpha minus sine alpha. So looking at this question, the question said we should not find the ratio of their time of flight. So looking at this, you can further simplify this to give you cos alpha over cos alpha plus sine alpha over cos alpha divided by cos alpha over cos alpha minus sine alpha over cos alpha. And that will give me, so at the end of the day, what I'll be having will look something like this. So it means at the end of the day, what I'll be having is going to give me 1 minus tan alpha, 1 plus tan alpha over 1 minus tan alpha. And this will become our answer for T1 over T2. So this is the ratio of my time of flight for this particular question. Moving on to question number 4, it says a particle is projected with a velocity u so that its horizontal range is 3 times the maximum height attained by it. the horizontal range of the projectile is given as nu squared over 25g, where the value of n is dash, given that g is the acceleration due to gravity. So in this question, we are looking for the value of n. Remember in the question, they said that the particle is projected with a velocity u, so our initial velocity is given as u. And they said that the range is 3 times the maximum height. It means that my range is 3 times maximum height. So we know that our range has a formula that says u squared sine 2 theta over g. And we know that our maximum height is u squared sine squared theta over 2g. So if my range is equal to 3 times the maximum height, it means what I have is u squared sine 2 theta over g is equals to 3 times u squared sine squared theta over 2g. This means that u squared here can cancel out u squared and my g can cancel out g. It means I have what? Sine 2 theta is equals to 3 over 2 sine squared theta. So, and I know that sine 2 theta, we know that sine 2 theta is the same thing as saying I have 2 sine theta cos theta. So if my sine 2 theta is 2 cos theta sine theta, this means that what I have here is 2 sine theta cos theta is equals to 3 over 2 sine theta sine theta, because sine squared theta simply means sine theta times sine theta. So it means that my sine theta here can cancel out sine theta. It means what I'll be having here is 2 cos theta is equals to 3 over 2 sine theta. So if I divide both sides by sine theta and divide both sides also by 2, it means what I'll be having. If I divide both sides by cos theta and divide both sides by 3 over 2, it means what I'll be having here is 2 divided by 3 over 2 is equals to sine theta over cos theta. This is the same as saying I have 2 times 2 over 3 is equals to sine theta over cos theta is going to give me tan theta. So this means that tan theta is equals to 4 over 3. So if my tan theta is 4 over 3, from our trigonometrical ratio, we know that if tan theta is 4 over 3, that is to say that if my angle is here as theta and tan is opposite over adjacent, this means that this is 4, which is opposite, and my adjacent here is 3. So if I use Pythagoras theorem to find the hypotenuse here, which says that what? Hypotenuse square is equal to opposite square plus adjacent square. This means that I have my hypotenuse square to be 4 square plus 3 square, and that will give me 16 plus 9, which will give me 25. It means that the hypotenuse here is square root of 25, which will give me 5. And is that what I have? It means that I have what? My sine theta to be equals to, since sine is opposite of hypotenuse, it means that my sine theta here is going to give me 4 over 5, and my cos theta is going to give me adjacent over hypotenuse, which is what? 3 over 5. So since I've gotten all of the part of this trigonometrical ratio, I will now solve for that to get the value. So looking at, we have gotten all of this. So all we have to do now is impute this into our formula in order to find out what our n is. So we have gotten this. So, and we know that, what's happening? I'm not supposed to. So with that, we are going to impute these values into our formula for range. We say that range is equal to u squared sine 2 theta over g. So all I have to do is impute what my sine 2 theta is. This is the same as saying that my range is equal to u squared sine 2 theta is 2 sine theta cos theta all over g. So therefore, it means that my range is equal to u squared times 2 times my sine theta here is 4 over 5 times my cos theta here is 3 over 5. This is all over g. So this will give me u squared times, so if I multiply this, together, this will give me 8 times 3 will give me 24. This is times 24 all over, this will give me 25. So therefore, it means that I'll be having that my range, therefore, is, this is all over G. So my range, therefore, is supposed to give me 24 U squared all over 25G. So looking back at what we have, if we compare this to the original equation where they told us that our range is supposed to give you NU squared, if you compare this to our original equation which says that our range is supposed to give me NU squared over 25G. So if I equate this, NU squared over 25G, automatically it means that the value for our N which we are asked to look for, it means that my N in this question is supposed to give me 24 with this comparison. So that is the final answer to question number 4. Moving on to question number 5, it says a river is flowing from west to east direction with speed 9 km/h. So we have the speed of the river. Speed of the river as 9 km/h. Said if a boat capable of moving at a maximum speed of 27 km/h, so the velocity of the boat is 27 km/h. Then he said in still water, and this crosses the river in half a minute. So the time taken here is half a minute. Half a minute, which is the same thing as saying I have 1 over 2 times 60, and that will give me 30 seconds. So if you convert 30 seconds to hour, this is the same thing as saying I have 1 over 120 hour. 1 over 120 hour. Because this is simply as 30 over 3,600, which will give me 1 over 120. So with this, they say that it's moving with a maximum speed at an angle of 150 degrees. So the angle given in this question is 150 degrees to the direction of the river. Then they said the width of the river is dash. We have to find the width of the river. And how do we find the width of the river? First, we have to simply find the velocity with which it crosses the river, because this is the velocity that we are given there is the velocity with which it crosses a still river, but this river is actually flowing with a speed. The river is not what? Still. So we have to find that velocity, and that velocity is always what? Perpendicular to the direction of the flow of the river, which means that the velocity with which this boat moves is supposed to give us the that will give us the vertical component, which is what? U sine theta. So since we know that the initial velocity of this boat is 27 km/h, this means that I have what? 27 times sine 150, which is the same as saying I have 27 times sine 180 minus 150, which will give me 27 times sine 30, and that will give me 27 times 1 over 2, which will give me 27 over 2. So once I've gotten this velocity, I will now use this to find the width of the river, because if this is the speed of this particular boat, this is the speed with which the boat used to cross the river, this means that my width of the river is supposed to give me the velocity with which the boat used to cross the river times the time it used to cross the river. So it means that the width of the river is supposed to give me 27 over 2 times the time it used to cross the river in hour is 1 over 120, and that will give me 27 over 240. So with this, if we divide this at the end of the day, what I'll be having is 27 divided by 240. This will give me 0.1125 kilometer. But We can try to leave it in kilometers or put your answer in meters, and that will give me 112.5 meters. So this is the width of the river. The width of this particular river is 112.5 meters. Moving on to the next question. Question number 6 says, two projectiles are fired with the same initial speed from the same point on the ground at angles. So the first angle that we are given, theta 1, is given as 45 degrees plus alpha, and theta 2 is given as 45 degrees minus alpha, respectively, with the horizontal direction. The ratio of the maximum height attained is dash. The ratio of the maximum height attained is dash. So we know that our maximum height, h max, is supposed to give us u squared sine square theta over 2g. So if we are comparing the ratio of their maximum height, it means I'm saying h1 over h2. So that will give me u squared sine square of theta 1 over 2g divided by u squared sine square theta 2 over 2g. So my u square will cancel u square because in the question they said they have what? The same initial speed, and 2g will cancel out 2g. It means that my h1 over h2 is going to give me sine square theta 1 over sine square theta 2. So, and we know that our theta 1 is 45 degrees plus alpha. So this means that my h1 over h2 is going to give me sine square, open a bracket, 45 plus alpha over, or sine 45 plus alpha square. So this is same as saying over sine square 45 minus alpha square. So this will give me, I know that my sine 45 ordinarily is supposed to, 45 plus alpha is supposed to give me sine 45 cos alpha plus cos 45 sine alpha all over, this is now squared, all over sine 45 cos alpha minus cos 45 sine alpha, or squared. So this will give me, so for 45 degrees, looking at my trigonometrical ratio, if this is 45, this is root 2, 1, 1. So sine 45 is 1 over root 2. So I have 1 over root 2 cos alpha plus 1 over root 2 plus 1 over root 2 sine alpha, all squared, over, this will give me 1 over root 2 cos alpha minus 1 over root 2 sine alpha, or squared. So this will give me, so if you expand this at the end of the day, you are going to be having 1 plus 2 sine alpha cos alpha plus cos square alpha over, this will give me 1 minus 2 sine alpha cos alpha plus cos square alpha. So if you simplify this further, you are going to get 1 plus sine 2 alpha over 1 minus cos sine 2 alpha. 1 minus sine 2 alpha. So at the end of the day, when you simplify this, it means that the ratio of your maximum height, h1 to h2, is going to give us 1 plus sine 2 alpha over 1 minus sine 2 alpha, which is the final answer. Moving on to question number 7, it says an object of mass m, so we're given the mass m, is projected from origin in a vertical xy plane at an angle, so we're given the angle as 45 degrees with the x-axis, such that the initial is v0. So my initial velocity here is v0. The magnitude and direction of the angular momentum of the object with respect to origin
when it reaches the maximum height will be dash. So we are asked to find the magnitude and direction of the angular momentum. So we know that since they're talking about what? The angular momentum, first we have to find, because we know that our angular momentum L is supposed to be m times r times v. So we have to find our arrow. Our arrow is the same thing as our maximum height, and my v is the velocity. And in this case, the velocity here is along the horizontal plane. So it means that my v is, in this case, v naught cos theta. So this means that I have to find my r, which is my what? Maximum height. And my r, which is maximum height, is supposed to give me u squared sine square theta over 2g. This is the same as saying that my r therefore is equals to my u has been confirmed as what? V naught. So I have v naught squared sine square 45 over 2g. This is the same as saying that my r therefore is v naught squared sine 45 squared here will give me, sine 45 will give me 1 over root 2 squared divided by 2g. This means that my r is equals to v naught squared times 1 over 2 squared will give me 1 over 2 all over 2g, which is the same as saying that my r is v naught squared over 4g. So with that, and I've gotten my r, and I have to find my what? My v. So v here is supposed to give us v naught cos theta, which is the same thing here as saying that in this question, my v naught is still v naught. So I have cos theta, which will give me cos 45. So it means therefore that I have my v naught cos 45, which is the same as saying that I have what? V naught times cos 45 is supposed to give me 1 over root 2. So I have 1 over root 2, which will give me v naught over root 2. So for me to find my angular momentum, I will tell them therefore that my angular momentum L is equals to, the mass there is m, times my r there is v naught squared over 4g, times my v there is v naught over root 2. So since my angular momentum is m times v times r, and I've gotten my m here, I've multiplied it with my r and I've multiplied it with my v, it means therefore that the angular momentum is m v naught cube, because v naught squared times v naught here will give me v naught cube over 4 root 2g. So this is therefore the magnitude of our v naught. So this is what we are going to get as the magnitude of our v naught in this question. So the final answer to the magnitude of this particular question is saying that my what? L is equals to v naught cube over 4 root 2g. Moving on to question number 8, it says a ball of mass 100 grams. So we're given the mass of the ball as 100 grams, which is equivalent to saying I have what? 100 over 1000, and that will give me 1 over 10 kilograms. So a ball of mass 100 grams is projected with a velocity. So my initial velocity is 20 meters per second at an angle theta of 60 degrees with the horizontal. The decrease in kinetic energy of the ball during the motion from the point of projection to the highest point is dash. So we are trying to find the decrease in the kinetic energy, which is the difference between the kinetic energy from the point of projection to the kinetic energy at the highest point, which is maximum height. So the first thing I have to find is the kinetic energy from the point of projection. And my KE from the point of projection, let's say KE1, is supposed to give me half mv squared. So since I know that my velocity is 20, since it's the same thing as saying I have what? 1 over 2 times 1 over 10 times 20 squared. And that will give me 1 over 20 times 400. This will cancel this. And then at the end of the day, I'll have 20 joules. So this is the kinetic energy from the point of projection. So I will find the kinetic energy at maximum height. Please note that at maximum height, the vertical component Vy is going to give us what? 0. So at that point, it means what I'll be having is only my horizontal component, which is Vx. So my Vx here is going to give me u cos theta. And that will give me that my Vx will give me my u here was 20 times cos 60. And that will give me cos 60, that's 20 times my cos 60 is supposed to give me 1 over 2. 1 over 2. And that will give me 10 meter per second. 10 meter per second. So with this, I will now find my what? Kinetic energy at maximum height. So kinetic energy at maximum height, which is K2, is going to give me half mvx squared. And that will give me 1 over 2 times 1 over 10 times my Vx here is what? 10 squared. So this will give me 1 over 2 times 1 over 10 times 10 times 10. So this will cancel this. It means I'll be having what? 10 divided by 2, and that will give me 5 joules. It means therefore that the decrease therefore, the decrease is Ke1 minus Ke2. And that will give me 20 minus 5, which will give me 15 joules. So at the end of question number 8, our correct answer to question number 8 is what? 15 joules. Moving on to question number 9, it says the angle of projection for a projectile to have the same horizontal range and maximum height is dash. So we're trying to find the angle of projection for the horizontal range and the maximum height to be the same, which means we're equating our range to our maximum height. I will know that range is supposed to give us u squared sine 2 theta over g, and my maximum height is supposed to give me u squared sine squared theta over 2g. So if we're equating the both of them, it means therefore that my u squared can cancel out u squared and my g can cancel out g. It means I have sine 2 theta to be equals to sine squared theta over 2. So if I cross multiply here, this is the same as saying I have 2 sine 2 theta is equals to sine squared theta, which is the same thing as saying, since we know that our sine 2 theta is supposed to give us 2 sine theta cos theta, it means what I'll be having here is 2 sine theta cos theta, this is times 2, is equals to sine theta sine squared theta. So this is the same as saying I have 4 sine theta cos theta to be equals to sine squared theta. So this will mean that I have my, if I divide both sides by sine theta, it means I'll be having 4 cos theta to be equals to sine theta. So at the end of the day, it means I'll be having 4 to be equals to sine theta over cos theta, which is the same as saying that I have tan theta to be equals to 4. And in this question, they're saying what the angle of projection for a projectile to have the same horizontal range and maximum height. So the angle of projection for your projectile to have the same range and maximum height, therefore, which is theta, is equals to tan inverse of 4. So this will be the answer. Ordinarily, you cannot have tan inverse of 4, but in the case of this question, this is the final answer, which is what? Theta is equals to tan inverse of 4. Moving on to question number 10, it says the coordinate of a particle moving in xy plane are given by x equal to 2 plus 40 y equal to 3t plus 8t squared. The motion of the particle is that. So we are trying to find how this particle moves. Is it moving linearly? Is it moving parabolically? Or what? So all we have to do is what? Find this. And how do we find this? We have to what? Differentiate this. So for us to find the velocity of this particle, we have to what? Differentiate the position of this particle. So if I differentiate the position of this particle, since my x is equals to 2 plus 4t, if I differentiate this, it means my dx dt is supposed to give me 0 plus 4. So this will give me what? 4. So if I differentiate my y, since my y is equals to 3t plus 8t squared, if I differentiate this, my dy dt will give me 3 plus 16t. So looking at this, automatically it means that this particle, because when you differentiated this and get your velocity, it means that this particle moves what? Uniformly along the lines of projection or movement of this particular particle. So this particle is what? Having uniform velocity, as in this case. Why? Because they both have what? Values for both the x and the what? Y axis. So if you want to find if this particle accelerates, it means we have to what? Differentiate. We have to differentiate our velocity to get whether this particle is accelerating or it is what? Moving linearly or not. So all we have to do here is what? Differentiate what we have for our velocity. So if we differentiate this, it means what I'll be having here is d square x dt. So if I differentiate this, which is 4, if I differentiate it, I'm going to get what? 0, which means that this particle is not moving on the x axis. So if I differentiate my y, I'll be having d square y dt, and this will give me 16, which means that this particle on the y-axis, it is actually what? Moving on the y-axis, which means it is what? Accelerating. And if the particle is accelerating only on the y-axis, it means I'll be having a curve instead of what? A straight line graph. So it means that this particle, instead of what? Moving on a straight line, it will be forming what? A parabola, as in this case. So it will be having what? A parabolic what? Motion, because the what? There is no acceleration on the x-axis. And it means that the motion of this particle is what? A uniformly accelerated particle. It means that the particle is what? A uniformly accelerated particle.